So today we're going to continue to talk about some more probabilities, and we're going to add to our vocab list here a little bit. Today what we want to look at is what we describe as disjoint probability or overlapping probability. And I've just got me some numbers in different colors here that we're going to use as our set today. So the problems that we were looking at in class would be distinguishing the difference between these two questions. What's the difference between these two questions? What's the probability that I pick an even or an odd? What's the probability that I pick an even and an odd? So we got two different conjunctions there, and this is what we did the other night. This is the independent-dependent stuff, and this is where we talked about and separates this into two completely different draws, two completely different choices. So the chances that we would pick an even number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 15, and the chances that we would then pick an odd number would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 15. And we would be multiplying those probabilities together because they are separate events. Okay, that's what the conjunction and gives us. Now we've put the conjunction or in there, and that completely changes the perspective here. It just wants to know in one pick what would be the chances that we pick an even or an odd number. So this is only a one action, which means we only need one fraction. All right, and again, our bottom, 15, because we got 15 total numbers. What's the chances we pick the even part? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus our odd, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait a second. I can't. We got 16. Sorry. So the chances that we pick an even or an odd number would be 16 sixteenths. I guess these should be 16 over here. That's my fault. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Sorry about that. All right. So this is the type we're going to look at tonight with the conjunction or. And that implies that we want to add our categories together. But it's a simple one pick, so we're only looking for one fraction. One fraction. All right, and by the way, this question would be an example of what we would label as a disjoint. Category 1 has absolutely nothing to do with category 2. So that would be a disjoint question. What's the probability that we pick an even number or black? Chances that we pick an even number or a black number. Okay, so again, this is conjunction or, so we only have one draw that's going to take place here, which means we're only looking for one fraction. We know we got 16 total numbers, so we go for our evens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus the blacks, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. However, we need to pause for a second because again, hopefully we notice that there were a couple numbers that were included in both categories. Okay, so when I counted up my even numbers, I counted the 4 and I counted the 6. When I counted up the black numbers, I counted the 4 and the 6 again. So the 4 and the 6 landed in both categories. They were counted twice, which we don't want to do. So we need to subtract 2 here because we have 2 overlap. All right, this is an example of an overlap question where some items fall into both categories and we don't want to count them twice. So we really end up with 10 out of 16 here, which simplifies down to 5/8. So those are the kind of questions tonight. And the big thing basically is the overlaps. We want to make sure that you guys can catch the ones that are getting counted twice. All right, and that you're aware of those numbers that fall into both categories, and we don't count them twice. Let's see if we can throw another overlap at you here. What would be the chances that we pick prime number or a 5? What's the chances we pick a prime number or a 5? So prime numbers, we know we got 16 total. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 5s. However, these 3 5s, we counted them as prime and we represented them here. So we do not want to count them twice. So we want to subtract our 3 overlaps, which leaves us with a 7/16. All right, the last thing we need to be aware of here, some of these questions are starting to pop up, and we just need to be aware of them. Chances, we need to know what's the chances we pick a 5, but then we also need to be able to understand what's the chances that we pick something that's not a 5. All right, we got to be able to get that, answer those not questions. So chances we pick a 5, pretty simple, 3 out of 16. What's the chances we pick a value that is not a 5? Well, that would be everything else. So that would represent 13 out of 16. So just be prepared for some of those not questions. That would basically be everything that does not meet the question they're at, the value that they're asking for. As always, take your time. If you have any questions, bring them to class, and we'll go over them tomorrow. Have a good night.